Hello everybody, welcome to the JD Theory. Today, we're going over Raw 10-6-25. And yeah, let's get right into it because this week we start out, Roman Reigns obviously came back. We get a promo showcasing what led to him coming back and being out in the first place. And the OTC, he comes out to a huge ovation, interrupted then by Bronson Reed and Paul Heyman. Heyman brings attention to the fact that this is the first time Roman Reigns has ever left in a stretcher. Now, I thought this was interesting to use as a plot point. Roman says, I want all the smoke. Heyman says nothing's going to happen till Perth. And that's when we get an official confirmation for a street fight at Crown Jewel. Excuse my voice, still under the weather, as you probably figured if you've seen any of my last few videos, but we're sticking with the uploads. So then, after that announcement, Roman's talking his shit, and then we get a brawl on the ringside to the barricade. They're separated by officials. Now, what did this segment accomplish? I think it sets up, obviously, a new fight for Crown Jewel. But let me be critical of this a little bit. Because everybody was watching SmackDown. We were all waiting for that announcement of Aleister Black versus Damian Priest to be on Crown Jewel. Excuse me, sorry for the pause there. Yeah, we all wanted Aleister Black and Damian Priest to be on the Crown Jewel card. And then we get a run back of Bronson Reed and Roman Reigns, which nobody actually believes Bronson Reed is going to win this match. I don't think anybody knew this match was going to happen. I mean, we literally just did it at Clash in Paris. And of course, I'll talk more about this in my predictions video for the Crown Jewel. I mean, they are going to be in Australia, but, Roman Reigns, he don't lose at PLEs. Let's remember that. So what did this promo segment accomplish? It accomplished setting up, hopefully, the final showdown between the Tribal Thief, who does not have any Shulu Fala, versus the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns. Yeah. Not in love with this, but that's alright. It's probably going to be a great match. Or at least a fun match. Then, we cut to Asuka and Adam Pearce talking in the back. Asuka is demanding that the Kabuki Warriors have a match tonight. Claims she is going to teach Rhea and Io respect. She wants Kairi to fight Io. And Asuka smacks Kairi in the face. In my notes I have LOL. Man. Big bad heel Asuka. Been loving it. Christ. My voice is falling apart. Now, what did this segment accomplish? Well, obviously, we have the Kabuki Warriors versus Rhea and Io at Crown Jewel Perth. So tonight, we're giving it a little more depth. We're having Io face Kairi. Obviously, Kairi has been hesitant on wanting to fight anybody. Io Sky is like, get out of here. I don't mess with you either. So yeah, what did this segment accomplish? It's a lead up to a match we get later in the night. Then we have Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree. Here's my notes. Becky's pretty much in complete control. Now, I write my notes as the match is going on. Heel tactics on point, loving the taunting and the smacks in the face. This whole Becky heel run has been awesome. Then I wrote this question: is this Maxine Dupri's first televised match of the year? I thought about it. I feel like she may have had one more. Did she fight Becky a couple weeks back? Is that real? Either way, Maxine gets offense in to a huge pop. Now, to me, this signifies Becky has strong heat. Dupree lands a big kick, and it was one of the closest 3-count kickouts I've ever seen. Becky kicked out at 2.999 for real. All right? Now, this match, it truly did evolve into an amazing performance by the end. Maxine Dupree wins in a rare count-out finish. Becky was too busy taunting the crowd. And, you know, they almost played into this a little bit because they had Becky yelling at the ref for counting in the first place. I think that's fine. Maybe you could just do it a complete surprise. We don't have to have Becky and the ref arguing. You know, when the count-out happens, we'll know it happens. We don't have to lead into it. And, yeah, I wrote, I think Maxine Dupree earned herself more TV time with this win and performance, because this was a great performance on Maxine Dupree's part. Now, hold on one second. Excuse me. Yeah, so Maxine Dupree held her own very well in this match. Of course, Becky's amazing. We all know that. But yeah, I was genuinely shocked. I guess, you know, you're only as good as your dance partner, and Maxine Dupree showed up. So what did this match accomplish? It accomplished a setup of sorts. I think it raises the stock of Maxine Dupree. So I think that's a big accomplishment, because we haven't seen anything with her all year. It gives Becky a little more foundation in her mini feud with the the Alpha Academy. Maybe we get a rematch with the title. Maybe Natty Neidhart gets involved here. You know, there's plenty of ways this could go. I think this match accomplished a setup. Then, you know, we do cut to the back. We have Jimmy and Jay talking to Roman backstage. Roman saying, I don't want no backup. Tells Jay, get your own, and get that big spot at the top of the hour over Punk. Warns Jimmy, says, I hear everything. What did this promo segment accomplish? We are putting the divide between the Uso brothers. And Roman is encouraging it. He's pretty much saying, fuck Jimmy. Do your own thing. Get away from Jimmy. And he's telling Jimmy, hey, stay away from your brother. He's going. You ain't. Crazy. Then we get to Lyra versus Roxanne Perez. Now, this starts with a weird little segment with her and Bayley doing a handshake of sorts before the walkout. and this match starts off very physical. Was a big fan of that. Roxanne begins targeting Lyra's arm throughout the match, and I was very impressed with the in-ring chemistry between Lyra and Roxanne. Now, of course, you have some shenanigans with Raquel and Bayley doing slight distractions, and surprisingly, Roxanne would actually be the victor of this match, which that caught me off guard, because we had Bayley lose to Raquel last week, and now we're having Lyra lose to Roxanne 1v1. And this ended with a great spot. Roxanne pulls off this tornado DDT off the apron to the outside, and then hits a Pop Rocks for the 3 count. And, I thought it was pretty good. I think Lyra and Roxanne, I feel like they could have their own program in the future when they're both more established. I know they're both very new on the roster. And what did this match accomplish? Oh, wait, hold on. I had one more note. Bayley acting crazy at the end. See, I'll just say this before I even get into what did the match accomplish. I'm just going to say this form of Bayley's nuts. I don't know if it's doing anything for me. Honestly, I do not know if it speaks to me from a story perspective. Hold on, let me just messing with my computer charger. It's giving me trouble. Whatever, dealing with some technical difficulties I will resolve later, because right now we could get this done. So yeah, Bayley's character for me, it's not doing anything. I think it's a little odd, And I don't know. I just don't see Bayley as a two-faced kind of character. She has to... And this is going to sound nuts to say because she's changing as we speak, but maybe a new look, something. I don't know. Now, what did this match accomplish? Honestly, despite it being a pretty good match, I don't know if it accomplished anything because we are stuck in this mid-tier feud with the Judgment Day aren't holding the tag titles in the women's division at least anymore. So we're not going to get maybe we get a tag match at a PLE as the conclusion to this saga. Maybe not, though. Maybe we see Bayley flip on Lyra in a tag match. Maybe Lyra gets pinned. Bayley freaks out on her. Then we do Bayley versus Lyra at a PLE. I don't know. But right now, I don't know if this is moving the needle too much for me. Because it feels like a little bit of a vortex we're stuck in here. But that's fine for now. The matches are good. Let's see what happens. Next, we get a John Cena, AJ Styles little video package. And they're giving us this since Cena, he has no more appearances left. At least from now till Crown Jewel. So it was a solid video package. WWE usually delivers on that. Surprised they put the tweets on Raw. Wasn't sure if that was going to work or not. Wasn't sure if that was a work or not when John Cena tweeted at Triple H. I don't know if that was a part of the plot or just John Cena trying to make something happen for the fans. Either way, we got AJ Styles versus John Cena, so who cares, right? This match, if John Cena is to win, it would be his 100th career PLE win. And then we cut to AJ backstage. He's being interrupted in an interview by the Judgment Day And then we get wind of a 6-man tag match tonight. Unexpected, but very welcome. Now, what did this promo segment accomplish? It's really the only build-up we get for the AJ Styles and Cena's match. So, look, I'll take it. Good video package. Like I said, WWE, they're pretty good on the video packages. And yeah, man, who wouldn't be excited to see Styles versus Cena one more time? It's going to be a great match. I mean, heck, maybe they could go try to top that Cody versus Cena at SummerSlam. If they could even touch that, boom, happy it happened. Christ. Now, let's see, we go to a backstage segment. AJ's recruiting Penta and Dragon Lee for a 6-man tag match. And then we see Lyra and Bayley brawling the Judgment Day outside. Adam Pearce yells, LOL. Now, what did this accomplish? Alright. Well, now we know who's in the 6-man tag match later. And I guess this is a way... Well, they're obviously building Lyra and Bayley. I guess they're saying there's some real emotions in this feud with Raquel and Roxanne. Which, sure, I guess. I'm not super crazy about this rivalry. I would just like to see Lyra versus Roxanne in a solo thing without crazy Bayley, you know? Excuse me. All right. Next we go to CM Punk promo. Sorry for the pauses. If I pause for a bit, it's either because I'm coughing or blowing my nose because I'm not feeling too great. CM Punk thanks the crowd for welcoming back his wife. So I guess they were in Dallas when that happened. I can't remember. And then he gloats about his WrestlePalooza victory, says he's staying out of Crown Jewel out of respect for Cody. I don't think you have a choice, man. You ain't in the match. Then he calls to be next champion. LA Knight then comes out. Knight straight up calls Punk a bozo champion, brings attention to his great 2-0 record against Rollins, and he's the last one to have pinned him. Then Jey Uso comes out to throw his name in the mix for next in line. Jey super kicks Knight after a full plate of shit talk. Jimmy comes out for some reason. Dude, Jimmy is just existing right now. And, Jimmy comes out. Punk calls Jey Little Roman. That was great. Then, Punk drops Jey. Jimmy is forced to drop Punk. This is going all over the place. And now what I think is going to happen, I think we're going to get a 3-way number 1 contenders match. That's what I want to see. Now, what did this match accomplish? Well, not this match. What did this promo accomplish? Yeah, it makes you say who really is next up, because, CM Punk did have that title, and he was robbed. And even though LA Knight, he doesn't always come out victorious, but against Seth Rollins specifically, he's been the most successful, our current champion. And Jey says, I never got my rematch for my title. So, make him do a 3-way. It'll be a great match. That's what I'm taking away. We get an Io Sky video package. We are not family anymore. That line hits pretty hard, in reference to the Kabuki Warriors, of course. And she pretty much said straight up what we all know has been brewing. I don't think this promo actually accomplished much because it's not like any new information was given to us here. This is pretty much what's been going on. So yeah, then we jump right to Io Sky versus Kairi Sane, and this starts explosively. Io flying at Asuka through the ropes to the outside before the bell even rings. And there's a vicious spot later in the match, Kairi slamming Io's head onto the apron from the outside of the ring. Now, I wrote this. Here's a little honesty. Generally, not a huge fan of Kairi or her offense, but her selling is always spot on. Asuka, this is how we end the match. And the match, pretty good. Io looks great in ring. Something about Kairi, it's almost like too cartoonish. I don't know how to explain it. It just doesn't do it for me. At least not right now. And, Asuka then distracts Io when Io gets on the top of the rope. Gives Kairi a chance for a surprise pin. Asuka also pulls Kairi's hands, so Io is locked down. 1, 2, 3. Kairi wins. Now, what did this match accomplish? We are setting up the Kabuki Warriors to look strong now. Because you need the heels looking strong going into the pay-per-view if you're going to have your baby faces topple them. Now, in my predictions video, which will be coming out, I believe, Thursday or Friday. Either way, I have my prediction. I actually throw a swerve in there of what I think will happen. And even though it is a bit of a swerve, I think I got the call on this one. Check out my predictions video. I'm going to drop the Power review tomorrow. Maybe I'll do the predictions video tomorrow and then the Power on Thursday. Either way, those are my next two videos, whichever order you get them in. The Power review and the Crown Jewel predictions. But yeah, I think we're building up the Kabuki Warriors for what is going to happen. Then we get a Seth and Cody video package. This is the second part to last week's package, and this one was great. Especially Seth talking about Roman Reigns, and it reminded us of their former allegiance to take down the bloodline. And dude, I'm genuinely hyped for this match. Now, I wrote, what does this segment accomplish? Well, if I'm excited, I think it accomplished exactly what it needs to. We're creating stakes for a match that doesn't inherently have any. The Crown Jewel Championship, you need to get it over. We need to put value on that match. Can't just be an exhibition. And they're doing a great job doing it. So, good job, WWE. Next, we get Becky and Seth backstage. Becky is tweaking over losing to Maxine Dupree. And then Seth is talking to Paul after Becky leaves. Paul, I have to win on Saturday. Seth is locked in. He's put the weight on his shoulders that the Vision would not respect him if he's to lose to Cody, and he straight up questions Paul's loyalty if he were to lose, and Paul keeps it a buck. If you lose, then I'm questioning my decisions. What did this segment accomplish? It's really driving the wedge or the edge of this match. Seth is fighting for stakes. Cody is fighting, I don't think for as much. Of course, he's the good guy. He's the protector, right? Seth has so much more to lose. It's going to be match of the night. I feel that already. The emotions built into this one. And the record of 0-3 to Cody, I think Seth gets his win. And you don't even necessarily need Seth to lose dirty. I mean, for Seth to win dirty, Seth could win clean, right? I think we know Seth is great. I would have him win clean. But I know there's probably going to be shenanigans. Who knows? Then we go to the Usos and Roman backstage again. Jay is bugging on Jimmy. Roman just looks like he don't want to hear none of this. And yeah, this is when Roman tells Jimmy to straight up stay out of Jay's way. Harsh. I think we could have got this in the first segment. This is kind of just a waste of TV time. And honestly, for something that's happening that's not even going to be on Crown Jewel next weekend, the Usos nonsense, unless we get a confirmation on SmackDown, which I don't believe we will, and my prediction video will be up already. We've pretty much been sticking to the 5-match pay-per-views, so I assume it's going to stay the same. And if we were going to have a match added, it would have and should have been Aleister Black and Damian Priest, which we already touched on. 1 second, blowing my nose again. Bear with me. Okay. So yeah, just another Usos Roman quick little thing. Then we get to maybe the funnest match of the night. I don't know if it's the best, because the Maxine Dupree and Becky match is great, and so is that Lyra and Roxanne. But this match, if we're talking pure hype and excitement, the AJ Styles, Penta, and Dragon Lee versus the Judgment Day surely does a lot, because Balor, and Styles, every time they're in the ring together, it is wonderful. Always. And there's a funny part. Joe Tessitore in commentary, he calls AJ Styles AJ Lee, which is funny because you have AJ Styles and Dragon Lee, and then you have AJ Lee. It's like, oh my god. Then we have Penta and Styles and Dragon Lee. They clear the ring at one point. They all do the Penta walk. That was fun. I wrote here in my notes, JD McDonough exists just to be ragdolled. Dom gets a hot tag. From the moment he enters, I just want to see AJ get his hands on him. That's how you know they've done something right with the Dom and AJ thing. Because I promise you, second Dom came in, I'm like, I cannot wait for his ass to get beat. And then, Penta comes in, he takes down the Judgment Day. An absolutely beautiful sequence. There was like a DDT in there at some point. One of the best highlights of the match. And then, after a little bit, we do get AJ and Dom in the ring together. The ring gets cleared. Dom has AJ set up for the 619, and then Rusev comes out. And I write in my notes here, Penta versus Rusev, ? Because Penta ends up landing a stray kick on him. And we were later confirmed at the end of the episode, Penta versus Dom Mysterio for the Intercontinental title is going to happen next week on Raw. I feel like it's just going to be interrupted by Rusev. I think that's what's going to happen. It was a little too blatant, that announcement. Why don't we get Penta versus Rusev? Let's build up a program. Because we've seen Penta versus Dom. We don't need to see it again with a different form of distraction. It was the Americanos the last time, or the Judgment Day. It's like we've seen Dom versus Penta with a million distractions happen already. Either way, AJ hits JD McDonough with the Styles Clash, 1, 2, 3. AJ then claims the crown jewel match does not need a story because it will just kick ass. Real shit spoken. What did this match accomplish? It's setting up something with Penta and Dom. Well, a title match. But I think it's going to involve Rusev again. So we're building a bit of a program. Maybe a 3-way program. AJ Styles, this was giving him one last hoorah before the pay-per-view. Give him some momentum going into it. Then as for Dragon Lee, I don't really know. He's been beefing with the Judgment Day too. Everybody's beefing with the Judgment Day on Raw, apparently. Having one-off filler matches with zero stakes, and that nobody remembers 2 weeks later. I think Dragon Lee is caught in the Judgment Day vortex. But after this, I think you take them all out of it. You move Dom and Penta to the side. AJ fights Cena, and then no matter what happens, I think you have him do something different. Maybe you move him up the card a little bit. Dragon Lee, I think, you don't keep him fighting the Judgment Day. You move him on to greater stuff. Maybe Judgment Day, you put him in a program with Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker for the title. Give that title some goddamn meaning. It hasn't been defended in what, like 3 months? Or what are we doing? Yeah. That title is horrible. You know what they need to do? I don't care when they do it. You could probably even do this next year. Unify the tag team titles. The same way the women's goes from brand to brand. Unify it. Because you have not kept enough depth in the tag team division. Don't get me wrong, SmackDown is doing amazing. If you want Raw to be like SmackDown, you gotta just start having matches on television for teams competing for the tag team titles. Not random tag teams you throw together at any given time. Show the champions. Show the champions on TV. They don't need a random title defense. Just have the champions fight. Then somebody calls them out. Doesn't need to be a huge story. Fuck it. Have the LWO come out. Saying, let us get a shot at that. Whoever. It doesn't matter. Send a team over from SmackDown. A team or two. Bring back American Made. Do anything. It's not working right now. Not at all. These belts, I think you should have the Judgment Day versus the Wyatt Six. Maybe you do this at Survivor Series or something. And you have the belts unified. Obviously, the Wyatt Six needs to win in that instance. Don't keep these on the Judgment Day. Excuse me if that... I should have got farther from the mic before I blew my nose there. Oh, one more. Thank you for understanding. Okay. Alright, then we get to the main event of the night. The Usos versus CM Punk and LA Knight. Yeah. And we start backstage, and I wrote, it is clear Punk and Knight are not happy, but it seems like they're willing to make it work. Now, once I saw this promo, it's pretty much WWE's way of saying, all right, these guys are going to win tonight. So I didn't like that they made it obvious. And this one, it wastes no time. Hands are swinging from the second all four men are in the ring. Punk and Knight, they give each other rough tag-ins. This actually made me laugh out loud. They're smacking each other. I thought this was creative and effective in showing the reluctant pairing of the two. You know, Jay has absolutely upped his physicality between the ropes. You can really feel the impact in this match when Jay is landing. You know, and I also write this about Jimmy. Jimmy never gets in any offense, just gets jobbed whenever he's in. Oh, Jimmy. I don't know what you do with Jimmy Uso, because obviously we're dividing the Usos right now. Was Jimmy in the right spot over on SmackDown with R-Truth? Just interacting backstage with, you know, the goofier wrestlers? Because I don't know if he's going to get a good position. Either way, what ends up happening? Punk lands the GTS. Knight tags himself in to pin Jay, even though Punk did the work. Stolen valor. Now, what did this match accomplish? It tells me Usos not working. Punk and Knight still not friends. It tells me we're probably going to get a triple threat. We're going to get Jay. We're going to get Punk. We're going to get LA Knight. Make it happen. Make it next week on Raw. First episode after Crown Jewel. And then whoever wins that next match, start building them up versus Seth Rollins. It gives Rollins a program right away. I think the most interesting one you could probably do is LA Knight. Because let's be honest, WWE is probably going to have CM Punk get the belt. So maybe at first you have Rollins beat LA Knight, you have him beat Jey Uso, then we get to the Punk program. If that's the plan anyway, I think you could have Seth keep it from Punk. Keep Punk chasing for as long as you want. I don't have a problem with it. And yeah, that's this episode of Monday Night Raw. A lot of unexpected victories, especially the Maxine Dupree. I didn't see that coming at all. I thought she was just going to get jobbed out to Becky, and then we were going to move on to something else. But that twist, you got me. Also, I did not think both Roxanne and Raquel would have victories over Lyra and Bayley. I thought it'd be like a tit for tat, you know, a 1-for-1. Let's look at some news. Okay, Santos Escobar turned down WWE offer before contract expiration. So no more Santos Escobar. And this is not a great thing to say, but I'm not a fan of Santos Escobar. In ring, he was always worse than Berto and Angel. And he is the least over person ever. And even though he was the face of Los Garza del Fantasma or whatever, I was more excited whenever Angel or Berto got on the mic more than Santos, even though he's the mouthpiece. So that's got to mean something. And let's see, what other news is there? Yeah, I don't know. Santos Escobar, I could do without him. I don't know where he goes. Maybe he goes to AEW. Obviously, Andrade just jumped ship. Yeah, Scarlett claims WWE tried to erase her from Karrion Kross segments. Glad they didn't. Karrion Kross and Scarlett say AEW could be home forever, but they're not in AEW. I guess they're looking to be a part of it. Any other news? Oh, yes, we have the NXT and TNA showdown. This is exciting. If you guys have not been watching TNA or NXT, where we're putting all the champions against each other, we're doing some winner takes all. We're doing some brand versus brand. You know, the Hardy Boys are going to be in this one. I'm excited to see Matt and Jeff. This is going to be great. It really is. The showdown. It was called Invasion, but they changed the name for very silly reasons. So yeah, that's what's going on right now. Expect a Power episode tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in, and yeah, every odd episode of the podcast, we're getting a Raw review. Every even episode, NWA Power. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for bearing with my under the weather. I know it affects the quality of the recording, but that's what's going on right now. Apologies. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.